What if your health insurance doesn't have a copay? Well, hey, stick around because that's what we're talking about today. How's it going, everybody? I'm Joey Chingola with Chingola Insurance, and you've probably noticed over the last couple years, and maybe even longer, it's become increasingly harder to find a reasonably priced health insurance policy that has that traditional copay for your doctor's visits. Of course, I'm on record for saying that the copay should probably be pretty far down your list of things that you should care about. However, there is something that is slowly changing my mind. We're going to get into that in just a little bit, but first we need to ask ourselves a couple questions. First, do you really need a copay? So now over the last 3 years, again, like I said, I've really stated the fact that, copays just, for the most part, don't make a lot of economic sense. The center of this argument for having a copay or not was really centered around the cost differential between plans with them and without them, plain and simple. I mean, let's be honest, math never lies. I mean, if you do it right. Since I first laid out that simple math equation, there's been a decent amount that has changed regarding health insurance and the policies that you can or cannot buy. And it has made this kind of idea more true and less true all at the same time, if that makes any sense. So the question is, well, what has changed? Well, 2 years ago, the Affordable Care Act was officially unleashed on the entire country. And as a result, things got a lot more affordable for some people and a lot more expensive for a lot more people. The subsidy or tax credit game made it almost impossible to make blanket statements as to what type of plan is going to be affordable or not affordable for you, because it's almost impossible to know how much your health insurance is going to cost, because it's all about how much you make. By how much you make, I mean money, like income, from your job. And to make matters worse or better, I don't know, probably worse, on top of all that, the price gap between copay plans and non-copay plans got a lot smaller. So what does that mean for your copay now? As we move forward with Obamacare, prices continue to increase at an unsustainable pace. Those subsidies and tax credits that have been able to make this thing affordable for people have not really been able to keep up. However, the thing I mentioned earlier, I think, might be the Band-Aid of sorts for your copay problem. So now here's the big question. How can you go to the doctor as many times as you want? Well, you can always go to the doctor as many times as you want. It's just a matter of how much it's going to cost you. But the question that I want to ask you is, have you heard of this thing called telemedicine? If you have, good, great, fantastic. If you haven't, well, it's essentially FaceTime with your doctor, or a Hangout if you're an Android guy, or just let's call it a video call or a Skype call. It's not really Skype, but just face-to-face video calls through your computer, smartphone, tablet, any type of platform that has a camera that you can talk to works. And for this video call, you essentially pay a kind of a flat monthly fee. They're always open. There's always a doctor, and you don't have to leave your house to do it. Probably one of the biggest questions that is screaming in the back of your mind right now is, well, does it sound too good to be true? Kind of, yeah, when you think about it, it sounds a little silly, right? I mean, how could this even be possible? But let's actually just take a look at the economics of it, and just let's hold judgment until then. When you remove all of the excess fluff, if you will, surrounding a traditional office visit, well, it becomes a lot more affordable. I mean, without any nurses, receptionists, or charts to manually write in, things get a lot easier. These new services use electronic health records, so whatever you discuss with that doctor can be just magically shipped to wherever it needs to go. Your existing doctor, some specialist, whatever. And of course, this workload is shared with thousands of doctors across the country and, hundreds within your state. So since we're on the topic of doctors, what kind of doctors can you see? So obviously, the guy that you actually go see down the street is not going to be taking that video call at 2:34 in the morning. Just not going to happen, at least not yet, anyways. But here, let's put together, since we all like lists, here's a list of kind of some symptoms or things that you can call these doctors up to have them handle really at any time. You have cold and flu symptoms, bronchitis, allergies, poison ivy, pink eye, urinary tract infection, a respiratory infection, sinus problems, ear infections. So that's a pretty healthy list. That's just, kind of a general idea of the type of thing. So like any type of just general primary doctor stuff that you would be going to see anyways, these online video calls are going to kind of take care of that. They can even write you short-term prescriptions for any of those things if needed. Things like amoxicillin, Augmentin, I don't know, I can't say half these names. Do a Flonase nasal spray. I've tried this out. They've actually tried to give me Flonase, so I know that works. So anyways, I can't say a bunch of those medications, but you can see the list, and obviously it's pretty substantial. You also have access to a national network of pediatricians as well, so not just regular doctors, but special kid doctors too. So now we're really getting into the nitty-gritty, and how much does this service cost? That's a great question, and it's a bit of a moving target depending on who you go to and how you want to be seen and all that fun stuff. So now there are several different companies that offer telemedicine services. Their overall structure and pricing are very different depending on who you decide to choose. Now we've put together a benefit package that includes telemedicine. We can get you some more information after the video, or there is a link below in the video's description, but you're gonna have a couple different choices. You're gonna pay, an amount of somewhere between $15 to $20 to maybe $25 a month, depending on, where you're getting it from. And in addition to that, you're generally gonna have, some discounts for dental, vision, prescription medications, and maybe a few other benefits as well. On the other hand, there are a few other companies that operate completely different from that structure, and they really essentially replicate the traditional face-to-face office visit by charging you just a flat fee for every time you use the service. And that fee, usually $50. I don't know about you, but that's where it stops to make a little less sense for me, because I would rather just have it available. I don't want to have to worry or think about using it. But again, going to make that decision, you're gonna say, boy, do I really want to spend that $50? As opposed to, well, I've already spent my $15 for the month and I'm just gonna ring my doctor up. To me, it's kind of like the Netflix argument. You're just gonna pay your monthly fee, and if you wanna watch all 6 seasons of Breaking Bad in like a day and a half, you can do that. Go for it. As opposed to saying, well, I'm just gonna pay for each episode individually for Breaking Bad on iTunes. Chances are you're gonna be a little more selective because you're dropping $2 a pop for each episode. So again, that's where it's kind of the same thing. So just think about it that way. So what's the bottom line? Well, if you travel, have a bunch of kids, or if you just like the idea of knowing that a doctor is literally a push of a button away, you'll probably get more value out of this service than someone who lines their pockets with plastic bags eating at a hometown buffet. The internet has been disrupting industry after industry for almost 20 years, and it's only fair that your doctor took his turn now. And again, if we're really being honest, there's not a whole lot to lose really on any of this, because the cost is so low, be it for the monthly subscription or for the pay per visit thing. It doesn't hurt to give it a shot. The worst case scenarios is that you're gonna have to go to your regular doctor anyway. If you have a bad experience or you just don't find yourself using it enough, well, you just get rid of it anytime. There's really no issues. And for the ones that aren't monthly services, you just don't use it again. It's plain and simple. So it's very, very low risk. I don't want to say ultimately high reward, but a convenience reward, I would say, would probably be the biggest incentive for you. So what's the next step? Well, if you don't believe me, let's put it to the test, and I will show you exactly kind of how easy it is to do this. So click right here on my face to do that, and let's get started. Of course, I do appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. It does mean a lot to me. And as always, I am Joey Giangola with Giangola Insurance. Take it easy, everybody.